If you want to save money on your trading card purchases, we have a promo link over at 50cards.shop. Enter the promo code @night to get 5% off your order.
Hey everybody, welcome to Nexus at Night, your weekly sort of Vanguard podcast. I'm Atlas.
Why did everyone like that? I'm Matt.
I'm Root Beer.
Hey look, I was getting married. I have a wife now. I can finally say, that's my wife! Instead of, oh, where's my fiancé gone? You know.
Borat voice.
Yeah. My fiancé, oh, maybe the dingo ate your baby. Yeah. But yeah, sorry for the delays and the chicanery, everyone. It was a lot of things to sort through, but we're back, we're alive, and today we're
I've been here the whole time.
Okay, he's been here the whole time, like Taylor Swift, and You Belong with Me. But today we're talking about the return of Bushi putting just good generic cards in their sets, or the Broken Common Club, as I've referred to it in the past.
Yeah. Although I don't think these cards are all that broken. It's just nice to have like good cards again. So far, like set 1 for DZ looked very promising.
Yeah. I know Richard of Nexus Core, our big brother, has put out a video describing his worry about the divine skills on the Welstra thing recently.
I have not seen that yet. Could you give us the summary?
The summary is basically that it's not game breaking because he kept referring to like Buddy Fight and Pokemon or these like big once a game skills are supposed to be like a Z move in Pokemon. It's supposed to be a big deal. And then this is just kind of like, oh, resources. Cool. So somewhat disappointed is the general air that I got from that.
Okay.
I'll link it in the description if I remember to, or just go on Nexus Core's channel. I think it's their newest video at the time of releasing this. If you're watching
most
this,
people think we are Nexus Core most of the time.
Yeah, we're not. We're not. Sorry, guys. We're separate. We're friends. Don't worry, we don't hate each other. But I want to take a look at this card because you brought this up on Twitter. Specialty Mountain Grill Fire Dragon's Breathwind.
Yeah. So
this name.
You know, we kind of got off to a bad start with Divine Z because the TDs are ass. But you know, since then, now that we've gotten into the actual set 1 reveals, it's actually looking very promising so far. I think Bushiroad has actually printed a decent amount of interesting cards. Like none of the reveals have been super disappointing. We haven't seen anything that just says plus 5,000 yet. I know there are going to be the like replacement cards that should have been in the TD that are like, when this is discarded, you can put it back in your hand. But like, yeah. You know, everyone knows those are, and they should have been in the TDs. But yeah, let's scroll down and take a look at the skill.
Okay, so this is a normal order. It's a grade 2 for Dragon.
And it's a common.
Yeah.
So you play it with Energy Blast 2. You look at number of cards on the top deck as the same number of your opponent's open rearguard circle. Choose a unit equal or less than your Vanguard's grade, call it to rear, shuffle, and then if something was retired by a card effect this turn, you give the call unit power plus 5,000. They managed to sneak it in there still.
Of course.
Look, you should eat too. I mean...
But yeah, this is like a good card, right? Like,
yeah.
So Energy Blast 2 feels like pretty standard. It feels about equal to like a Counter Blast or a Soul Blast because you get like 3 a turn.
Yeah, it's slightly under the actual 3, which I think is interesting that they're not just doing 3, 6, 9. They're doing 2s and 4s.
Yeah, which is weird. But yeah, so Energy Blast 2 feels equivalent to like a Soul Blast, which puts this on level of something like Frozen Resentments, which I think was a double R.
Yes.
Or like Mytharch Habitat, which is free, but also it's like a promo, and it's now like $20 because it's a good card.
Yeah, and thank God they're like doing another print run of those at Springfest as a promo, which just having more of them out there is good. But yeah, so this is something that like Dragon Empire ostensibly is supposed to be retiring the opponent's stuff. Your mileage may vary based on who you are, like whatever archetype in there. But
Yeah, but a decent number of them do. Obviously, the new start deck is based around retiring things. I imagine, like the actual triple R grade 3 that's in the set will probably do something based around retiring. We'll probably see it next week in the anime.
yeah, so this
But-
essentially is just a Mythiarch habitat, sort of,
Mm-hmm.
for Dragon Empire, which is cool.
I like that there's this resource now that you can't really be prevented from doing in any way.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, because Soul gets really, it's really easy to get kind of choked on Soul.
Yeah.
Depending who you are.
It depends, yeah, obviously, but like, one here, one here, one here, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. Like Counterblast has been a chokeable resource since the game's beginning. Soul, Dark Zone as a nation in later Dark States just has an easier time paying for stuff. And then energy is just this constantly replenishing resource that, there's no energy charge yet. Which
there actually is.
There is?
They've revealed a few cards that energy charge. I think a lot of the start deck ride lines, I'd have to look for the cards, but a lot of them have some sort of like, or at least the Dragon Empire one I know has energy charge, where it's like if you didn't call it out, or where it's like you could call it out, and then if you don't, you can like energy charge or something. I'm gonna have to look for it. But also the Welstra order that they revealed definitely energy charges.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was mostly just paying attention to the Welstra itself. Because, well, first off, there's a guy at my locals who plays Welstra. That's pretty good. And have a bit of like a rivalry going on, where like I'll win a week here, he wins the next week. But yeah, Welstra is pretty solid and as a deck, I think is sort of underappreciated. I just don't really see it around a lot, but it's pretty solid. So I imagine that seeing this new upgraded form of him, and now with like energy as a resource. So yeah, I'm excited to see how the rest of this set shakes out. We'll when does that drop? February 9th in Japan. So that
we have a lot.
Yeah, we got a few weeks before we have the
set we're not getting it till like May because we're so far behind.
Yeah, I more mean on this show when we do the set review.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the grade 2s for the ride line are like, when it's rode upon by the grade 3, you can call it to rear guard circle, and then if you didn't call it, you can energy charge 3.
Oh, okay.
Sure. I wonder what the big energy payoffs are going to be. That's kind of what I'm interested in.
Oh yeah, the old Counterblast 3.
Like pay 7 energy, do something, right? And you're like,
yeah.
Right now it's just pay 7 energy to draw a card, right?
Yeah, that seems awful. Mostly interested in something more, or looking for something more interesting than that.
Yeah.
Well, it's the beginning of an era, right? They gotta kind of dip their toes in the pool and then slowly over time.
Well, right now it seems like they're just putting energy onto things, right? So
yes,
like one of the other commons they release is just like on attack, if you have 4, or when it attacks a Vanguard, if you have 4 or more units, you can energy blast 4 to draw a card.
All I'm saying is the last card game I played that had an energy mechanic, things got really, really crazy really quick.
Which is what?
Magic the Gathering. Sometimes you're just casting Emrakruls, man. In turn 4, let me tell you.
So, like, the energy markers, it kind of looks like the memory from Digimon, where it's like the 10 things, and what, do you just have a dice that you move along it, or?
I think there's a little marker. You can just use dice to move along. You also have energy cards you can use to keep track of it.
Okay. Because
if anyone uses the energy cards, they are a sociopath.
Yeah. One thing I like about Vanguard is that the resources for the most part are like you can physically see them being paid. You turn the damage face down. You take the card from under the Vanguard and put it in the drop zone. Energy feels a little less like that, and this is coming from a former Yu-Gi-Oh player, right? Like paying life points didn't feel like anything. You just go minus 1,000 and then do your thing on a calculator. So I don't know. Maybe it just feels a little less visceral in that sense.
Yeah.
This episode got really off track. It was like, all right, broken comments, and back to the energy talk. Sorry, guys.
So far, oh yeah. Also, one annoying thing I have to mention: apparently, energy is going to be mandatory.
Yeah, it's mandatory. You got to fucking buy one of those TDs. I will start an underground counterfeiting ring for the energy markers just out of spite.
Yeah.
I would.
Like,
So wait, they're not just letting you like put a dice on the table saying this is my energy?
No.
like you have to use the crest, and you have to use like their energy markers.
I
Wild.
hate this so much. Like
Wild.
there's a lively group of people on Twitter who are like photoshopping their favorite units as energy markers that you can print out and stick them to that. That's kind of cool. But
you can't proxy the energy counter, but also like the crest itself is mandatory, which did not seem to be the case when it was first revealed. Like people thought that the energy generator was just going to be optional, but it seems like they're just going to force you to use it, so you have to buy the TDs. Which another point in against the whole like it's for new player thing.
Yeah,
these TDs are awful.
Yeah, and you talked about them in a video recently.
Yes, I did.
That came out on my wedding day. That was fun. The morning of, we went to I woke up and had to drop off something at my wife's room where she was getting ready with her maid of honor, and then I came back and my dad was like, "Come with me to get eggs." I was like, "Okay." My dad is 70 and has Parkinson's, so you just kind of go along with what he wants to do. So we're walking down there, and I have one earphone in, listening to Root Beer talk about this. So,
also really funny that we got news about the Yu-Gi-Oh! 2-player set. It's like a week after that, and it looked, from a tutorial perspective, it actually looks decent. They actually teach you like a decent number of interesting concepts that are not just like normal summon the Hitatsumi giant.
Oh, yeah.
Because like it includes things like Cyber Dragon, right? So you have to imagine at some point they're gonna get across the idea of like inherent summons. You know, that term that
they're not going to talk about that word at all.
They're not going to phrase it like that, but you know.
Yeah.
Like they're at least going to teach you the concept of how to use a card like Cyber Dragon. Like there's one point, according to the DZ video that he did showing off the the tutorial set, where you like summon something with Call of the Haunted, and then you use it as Xyz material. So since it doesn't leave the field, Call of the Haunted just kind of sits there. So then you tribute it off to summon Eldritch.
Do you all watch Master Roulette?
Yes.
No.
How does Dazif keep getting away with it in Master Roulette?
I don't know.
What is he doing in Master Roulette?
He just pulls Constructed out of like 20 packs.
He gets like one of the worst sets in the wheel, and then just makes it happen. The dream happens.
There's like scenes on a cutting room floor.
Dazif got Raw. There's no way he wins this.
Yeah.
Dazif got Charmers. There's no way he wins this. You say to yourself.
And then MBT manages to pull the worst deck you've ever seen in your life. And
it's so cool.
And a deck that also gets hard countered by Dazif's shitty Charmer deck somehow.
It's so sick. Master Roulette is godlike.
I think it's time for Dazif to take the L. All right.
No, he can't. He's too good.
Yeah.
He's simply too good.
Yeah. Oh my god. If you want to hear more conversations like this where we talk about just whatever the hell, patreon.com/Nexus at night. Bonus show every week. Sorry. Too easy. Got to plug. But yeah, Energy Blast, blah blah blah. I referenced the Broken Common Club, and the card I wanted to pull, like I pulled up it as an example, is Nurse of Broken Heart. So back in G era, her effect was GB1. When a card is put into your damage zone, choose one of your vanguards, and that unit in this unit you have +2k till end of turn. This was used with Angel Feather. So for my for the listeners out there who just started with Overdress, Angel Feather was a clan that specialized on putting things into damage zone and calling them back out. So this could snowball fairly quickly, right? You put like
It
5,
also didn't
6
help
cards.
with the no-seal grade 3 that every time a no-seal entered your damage zone, you could just take another one.
Oh yeah, and then put a card.
And so
damage
yeah,
zone.
you just kept doing it. And there's some counterblasting involved, but counterblasting is like not real in Angel Feather back in G era.
Yeah,
So,
because you can take the counterblasted card.
So you would just like go through like 20 or like 7 cards or something. You would put 7 cards in your hand, your Vanguard would be 25k.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, all right, continue attacking now.
It
And
should
you're
be
like-
noted that this is a fairly passive card, right? It's just like as you continue to do what you do normally.
But
get
it's also
huge.
not, right?
Yeah.
Because on your turn, you just do the same shit.
And
then
then
this
suddenly
card's
this thing's like
huge.
80k.
And
Yeah.
this deck already played 1 billion stand triggers anyway.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it was all very funny.
Pre-Doctroid Refros limit. Remember that? That was
I mean, even
awful.
after that, it was still
Yeah.
like pretty
Mhm.
annoying.
So like Bushiroad had a habit of like releasing cards like this where they made a big deal to
Mayhem
the deck.
Tiger.
What?
Mayhem Tiger.
Mayhem Tiger, yeah. And if people want to like have memories of a broken common that
Yeah.
makes their deck work, made their deck work, please put it in the comments because
Oh wait, why didn't you put Enigmatic Assassin, the one that still
what
sees
the
play?
fuck? Why didn't I put Enigmatic Assassin? Holy hell!
Look, I'm just rolling with it. So it's funny because like Nurse of Broken Heart is very good, but it makes
Yeah.
sense it's a common because its effect is quite simple.
Yeah.
This card, on the other hand, makes so in some card games they design higher rarity cards by like how complicated the effects are,
Mhm.
which is because of like you don't want your new players opening a pack, seeing a common and having like 20 lines of text. That's probably not a good thing. And then you get cards like this, which
Okay.
says so it has this. So it's a forerunner, or no, it's not a forerunner. Sorry,
It's not a
sits in your
forerunner.
soul. Sorry, it just sits in your soul. You don't need to play it as your starter. You can just soul charge the thing eventually. It doesn't matter.
Mhm.
And then as long as a card went into your damage zone and you have 10 or more in your soul at the beginning of your attack step, you can call this card to rear, and then
So-
it gets power +5. Or if you had 15, it gets power +10. Again,
On
No,
top of
then
that.
it.
Yeah.
oh,
So it
sorry.
can
So
get
it gets
15
15k total. So it becomes a
Yeah.
20k thingy.
Yeah, and
But-
and for people wondering what the attack step is, it's I have something that can attack. I pop assassin out. Oh, it's still the beginning of the attack step. I will now attack with
Yeah.
my
So
newly
attack
popped out
step
assassin.
comes before attack declaration.
It's so dumb.
Yes.
It
the
was
way-
invented because they needed to make Dimension Police actually do their gimmick. And then
Right.
for some reason they gave this card that timing for some reason.
This is the only thing that made Blade Wings like a good deck because you would run this at 4 and your kill turn was popping these out one after the other on top of each other. So you're going 20, 20, 20. And again, this is in the era of 5k power triggers. So even if they took a trigger on damage, it's still hitting. 5k, 5k,
Or you
5k.
just had 2 of them in a column
Yeah.
and it was like 40k, and you're like,
Yeah.
No, they were 40k anyways because you were playing that one card that gave like continuous power.
You would have to with
Oh, if
Bladewing
you went into
Tybalt.
the what was the name of that card?
Bladewing Tybalt.
No, it's not Tybalt.
No.
No.
The one that every time you soul charge a card, you give your front row.
Oh,
Yeah.
what's his face?
Demagogue.
Demagogue. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, back in the old days, you had Demagogue. Now, eventually, this card is actually still ridiculous because the real thing that makes this card ridiculous now is that it does not have GB1 printed on this card.
Mhm.
The previous card we saw at least had a restriction where you had to like stride at some point. This card does not actually have that restriction. So let's say you have like a no life king or something. Oh, you just keep going.
Yeah. So No Life King has to put three rear guards in, meaning that like, oh, you can't do it twice because you can pop this out. That you can do 3 twice. So you can do No Life King into No Life King into.
Now, see,
Barrel
that's why
Magnet.
it's limited now, is because before
Yes.
that you could like do it and then do it
Mhm.
again and then do it
Yeah.
again
Yep.
and then do it again.
Yeah.
And also remember, the enigmatic assassins can attack every time you're pulling them out.
Yes.
It's a
So-
very funny card.
Very funny card. It deserves to be limited. It's although like I miss like Bladewing is my favorite deck of all time.
I will
Not really
say
a
this.
DI guy, but
I will say this: it's very funny that if you look at if you look at like old Vanguard, they weren't really afraid to put starters at like double R or even triple R.
Mm.
especially ones that have powerful effects, like
Conroe.
Wingle Brave or Conroe is a double R, and then you had like a ton of rare starters, like a ton,
Yeah.
right? And then at some point they were like, level 0s should just be commons.
Yeah.
And they just never thought about that statement ever again, and they just made every level 0 common. And so that's how you get things like Refros and this thing.
Yeah. So that's how you get like Broken Common Club with that, but like things like Heart Thumb clones,
those are still double R's.
Those are still double R.
R's,
yeah.
But like this and a Heart Thumb clone are not comparable.
No,
not
at all. The fact that they made it a level 0 or a grade 0 is supposed to be like a handicap, because you're like, oh, it's awkward playing a 5K on its own. Like if this was an 8K grade 1 or a 7K grade 1, like go home, game over, because now that's like another stage of guard.
It's just a really weird like choice to make every grade 0 like a common at some point, because you look at like Weiss. If you made every level 0 in Weiss a common, there's so many like it would like totally screw up like what cards people actually like want to like pay big money for. It's just funny. Like they kind of like have obvious push cards at every level in Weiss. It's weird that this wasn't like a card that they're like, hey, this is pushed. We should like up this slightly, probably.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, I guess it's a nice thing because it means this isn't like a $60 card.
I guess. But it is a very funny card. And like other cards, like the other cards that we can even talk about, like not very, very many of them are even like close in power level to this one.
Yeah.
This is like the most broken of the commons.
And this is like in the middle of G-era too, which is funny to me.
And this card didn't see play up until we got really when we started getting the late Bladewing support and people started figuring it out.
This got played very quickly because the first thing everyone did with it was just pop it behind Gilderai and have a 50k guard restrict.
Oh yeah, that's boring though. That's boring.
Yeah.
Besides, you could just play a Mon and that was cooler.
So
Mon was so cool. But but Dark Irregulars wasn't like a powerful deck, I guess, is what I was trying to say. My apologies.
Yeah.
Because it's very
Dark Irregulars was pretty middling up until Bladewings got everything it needed. Which took a while.
It was the first DI deck that wasn't all or nothing. It was kind of like a rope-a-dope almost, where like, don't die, don't die, don't die, don't die. There's a moment, kill you, you know?
Also, G-Guards didn't help the whole situation with the Gilderai.
Yeah. I think that happened with a lot of the like guard restrict killer things, even though
that was their goal, because guard restricts were just like really stupid, right?
Diablo. That was the reason.
There were so many other scary decks at that time. It's funny that Diablo is the one that like is very memorable.
Yeah. Because it was one of the first that just straight up said you couldn't guard, right?
Yeah, it was like, you can't call anything from hand to guard circle. And they were like, okay, so let's get them from G-Zone to guard circle. And then...
My biggest complaint about G-Guards is how poorly split the usefulness of them was. But is what it is.
Boy, I love playing not Altmile Royal Paladin.
Yeah, or not Blaster. I think Blaster has the better suite of stuff.
Altmile has good ones too, but because Maron only got 5k. I'm trying to remember what the other Blaster G guards did.
I could not tell you.
I don't know. This got way off track. Sorry, guys. But yeah, glad to see Bushi back in form with that.
This is not a broken comment, by the way. I think this comment is actually incredibly fair.
Yes, it is.
It's just a fine card.
I just said broken common club because it rolls off the tongue nicely.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I don't think this card's broken at all.
No, it's not.
I think this card, if I saw my opponent playing it, I would think they're up to no good.
It's almost like it just kind of takes up space, right? Where you're just like, okay, I need to dig for a specific unit faster.
Correct. That is exactly what I would think about playing this card. If I needed a specific unit, I would think about this card.
Yeah.
Because then that's more copies of that unit. If you just need any unit, there's no reason to play this. Because you can just play a unit.
Yeah. or if there's like, I'm surprised we don't do more with orders where it's like bind an order from drop zone, blah blah blah. Like Stoicheia has some stuff with it where it's like if you have a blitz order and drop zone, you get extra shield or whatever the hell. But they haven't really done much with that yet. I would like to see them do more.
Blitz orders feel really weird as far as how like the game has created them.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get a blitz order archetype next week.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I am cautiously
interested.
Yeah.
Like, okay. I still think it's kind of a dumb decision to make it so you can only play one order per turn. I think it hamstrings you in the design department, but it also keeps you from doing something stupid because you're like, okay, this is kind of broken, but also you can only play the one. So it's not like you can go one after the other after the other.
Yeah. I think if they wanted you to play more, they should just make orders like do the thing you do in like deck building games where like you can just play another order this turn.
Well,
It's
most
like
order-based
you get
decks
plus one
have a
action.
way of just cheating out more orders.
Yeah,
it's like buying market in Dominion.
Yeah, because like in Braincade, they have things where it's putting a set order there as opposed to playing a set order.
Oh yeah.
There's a difference. So yeah, anything else to add about this sort of thing, or
No, not particularly.
Fine card. Like I said, if my opponent's playing it, I assume they're up to no good. That means they're looking for pieces.
Yeah.
Which I don't like. I don't like my opponent to have their pieces.
I bet the Prayer Dragon one will probably have a good time with this. Yeah,
I guess maybe.
Yeah. So yeah, what is your favorite broken common that you can remember, either broken or fair or just well designed? Put it in the comments below because I'm sure we missed them. Also, fun fact: I scared my wife by going "What the fuck" on the Enigmatic Assassin. So
Cool.
Good job, Atlas. Yeah. So thanks everybody for listening.
My wife. What? We're boys. My wife.
Yeah, my wife. Yeah.
Don't do that too much; she'll kill you.
Oh yeah. No, I just think of John Mulaney, right?
Oh, not me.
Oh, that's my wife. Yeah, even though he's divorced from that woman now. That drugs are bad, people. Anyway, thanks everybody for listening. Thanks $10 patrons, Darren, Cole, Josh, and Ali, our $10 patrons. Patreon.com/Nexus at Night. If you want to get a bonus show every week, or hear the episode early, or if you just want to help support us, that's in the description below. Follow us at Nexus at Night on Twitter or wherever the social media is. How about you guys?
You can find me on Twitter at Wiggums, 2Gs.
You can find me at Plasma Eclipse.
I will be playing lots of Yakuza. So I'm gonna be out of it.
At least
Infinite Wealth soon.
You can find me at Atlas Novak on Twitter, Instagram, all the places, or my YouTube channel, The Epileptic Comic, or my other podcast at Generation Dan. That's a comedy podcast about generational differences. Took a week off for the wedding, but we're starting back up again. So check that out. Thanks everybody for listening. And until next time, I was Atlas.
I'm still Matt.
I'm Root Beer.
And have a good night, everybody.